Hello and welcome back to Topper Machine and our Wednesday follow-up video to Saturday's video of making the new piston for the steam traction engine. So the piston came out beautiful. We used the shop-made tool that worked amazingly well. And there were a lot of really good questions on this video that in particular a very large number of people do not understand the difference between internal combustion and external combustion engines. They're all thinking that by dishing out this piston, I'm creating less compression. Well, sure, in an internal combustion engine, that is the case. In an external combustion engine, that is not the case. So steam works in an expansive form. It's an expansive unit, not a set unit. So in internal combustion, you have a gas, you compress it, you ignite it, and then it creates an explosion. In steam, it's kind of the other way around. You build steam pressure, you feed it into the cylinder, and as it cools, it expands, or as you release the pressure from it, it expands, and it's a very large expansion rate, and that's why steam engines work so well. Now, a lot of people questioned on whether or not this is actually going to work to give me more power, and the reason it will is I'm putting more steam into the cylinder before cutoff, so I'll have more expansive force. At least that's the theory, and I spent a lot of time talking to guys, a lot of steam experts, a lot of guys worked on this stuff, reading a lot of books on steam engine theory, and I might have to change some valve timing to make this work even better, but this is going to allow me a little bit more initial steam into the cylinder to give more expansive force to push the piston longer. So as the steam expands, you're losing pressure, but having more of it, I'm going to maintain a higher pressure for the travel. So it should work out really well. If it doesn't, I'm not out a whole lot, just time and, $750. Not a big deal. All right, so I'm gonna jump in here mid-video because I forgot something when I went to do the editing and I just realized it. One of the main questions, most important questions was, what does it weigh? So, the cast iron piston weighed 26 pounds, 12 ounces. It's a pretty heavy piston. And even though it is completely hollow, and I don't know if this is a lost wax casting or a sand, two-piece sand casting. I'm not sure how they do it. I'm not a foundry guy. I just don't know enough about foundry stuff. So anybody who does, I'm really interested in it. I don't see any seams here as far as the casting goes, so I really don't know how it was done. But 26 pounds, 12 ounces. The aluminum piston, this is going to surprise you, 18 pounds, 2 ounces. So we have a difference of 8 pounds, 10 ounces between the two pistons. Now, the other question is the change in weight going to throw things off? And the answer to that is not enough to be an issue. Actually, it'll probably be better. From what I've seen and heard from guys that have done this with aluminum pistons, the engine runs better and smoother. So the reciprocating weight, by knocking down some of the reciprocating weight, it makes it run a little bit smoother. It's not shaking so much. These engines do shake quite a bit. When you're standing there watching one run, they're rocking on the wheels just from the piston moving back and forth. So we're taking off almost, a little over 8.5 pounds. 8 pounds, 10 ounces. That's a big amount of material that isn't reciprocating back and forth, and it's gonna make things perform just a little bit better. Smoother, better operation. So, just wanted to throw this in here because I forgot all about it. I hope you enjoyed this part, and we'll get back to finishing up the video. But I really think this is going to work out well for us. A lot of you are just absolutely, in love with the chips coming off of this material, the 775. It's a great material to work with. There were a few people that questioned the galvanic corrosion in the cylinder. I'm not too concerned about that. The reason for that is I know a lot of guys have done this, gone to an aluminum piston, and with the steam cylinder oil we use, it's like coating it. That cylinder oil just binds into stuff and it coats it hard, and it just, I don't think it's gonna allow it to corrode. It's basically gonna impregnate the aluminum, it's gonna impregnate the cast iron. There really shouldn't be a difference in materials there. The only place that we may see a problem would be where the rod goes into this piston, but again, it's gonna be in there tight, a good solid seal. I might put a little Loctite on it yet besides, just to, you know, seal out any air, any moisture, and that should eliminate any problems there. There were a few people that questioned, you know, the 70-75 based on the temperature, the operating temperatures, and I looked into that. I did a lot of research on that, thinking, you know, okay, we're gonna lose some tensile strength in the higher temperatures or over time, but really I think the difference between what was available to me, the 60-61 or 775, the 775 was just the better choice. And again, if it doesn't work out, I just make a new piston, not a big deal. And it'd be another great video for you guys to watch. So overall, I'm not concerned with everything. It was a very straightforward job. I'm trying to think of other comments here because it was there weren't a lot of questions other than material choice. A few people had asked about, you know, why I didn't sleeve the cylinder. Well, I only took out 50 thousandths on the bore. I'm not gonna sleeve 24 thousandths, 25 thousandths in that cylinder. That just doesn't make sense. These farm engines were never sleeved, not like a locomotive cylinder. So just boring them, making a new piston is the right move, the right step forward on that. We had a few people scared the fact that I didn't use a center when I was doing all the turning because I was just holding it in the chuck. That's nothing to be afraid of. That's actually a very good way to do it. I've been doing it that way for a long time. In fact, I just did some ductile iron, same way. Held it on the jaw, on the outside on the jaws, a little bit longer piece, and just plowed into it. I was taking close to 500 thousandths in a pass. I might have been taking more than that, but there is a short on here on my YouTube channel. Check that out, of that ductile iron. I was really cutting hard into that. So overall, I'm very happy with the outcome of the piston. I think this is gonna work great for me. And like I said, if it doesn't, what am I out? I get to make a new one, start over, another video. Not really a bad thing. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm sure there's more questions that I missed, but really there weren't that many. It was a very good video. If you're questioning the internal versus external combustion engines, look that up. External combustion is your steam engine and your Stirlings, your hot air engines, and they are a whole different animal to internal combustion. A lot of fun to work on, a lot of fun to run. There's some great power there. But external combustion. So I'm sure many of you have never heard of that. Some of you that have or have worked around it know a little bit, but some stuff to really research and think about. So I hope you enjoyed this short video. I hope I answered all the questions. Stick with me. There's some cool stuff coming. Got a lot of projects in the works. Sawmill shed. Still working on the dragline. I've run into some problems there that I think this winter we're going to address those. So I know I suggested a viewer work weekend to put all this stuff together, and it's just not going to work out this year. I've got too much on my plate right now. Some big things coming. A very big announcement will be coming to the channel on my 5-year anniversary. So December 1st is our 5-year anniversary of the Topper Machine LLC YouTube channel, and we'll have a very big announcement then. So stick with me. Lots of cool stuff coming. And until next time, get out in your shop and get it done right the first time.